Is Earth a prison planet we've been brought to by aliens? Has anyone asked themselves if maybe, just maybe, Earth is a prison planet where humans came into existence because we were brought here by extraterrestrials? This is a theory in which many people believe, and I felt compelled to share it with you to think about because the connections are evident and the proof is hard to ignore. Much of this theory is based on the fact that humans are the only beings on Earth with a tendency to sunburn easily, with a dislike of naturally occurring foods, and with such high rates of chronic disease and extremely high rates of infant mortality. Nothing seems to contradict what is proven by science about hominids' long existence on Earth, and quite the opposite is true when it comes to Homo sapiens, or the Cro-Magnon or modern man. We are the descendants of the past inhabitants of Earth who were confined to isolate or stop mental illness, murder, and crime from spreading, and yet we are just as prone as our ancestors because, like them, we cannot escape the fact that we are capable of exhibiting mental illness and criminal behaviors. No one is at fault for this inevitable part of human nature brought about by diverged genetic code. There's no escaping this part of man being drawn to violence, lust, vengeance, theft, even murder. It's unthinkable, yet our very own species is what's causing these perverted horrors. We lie, cheat, steal, kill, rape, debauch, and if that's not enough, we exert dominion over our natural resources and pollute them. It seems like nothing can escape the horrors we inflict towards our own kind, other beings on the planet, or the distant interplanetary civilization. The universe's peace is under human threat for its murderous and perfidious ways. But it seems like the Earth is a strategic prison planet carefully chosen for its composition of hominid life form sustenance. The theory of Earth being a prison planet suggests that our ancestors were scattered to remote locations on different continents and varied climates with careful selection of Cro-Magnon's color, size, shape, and languages. Memories were erased before they were placed on Earth. There was a belief that if survival was possible among the prisoners, they will coexist and build relationships, interbreeding with the hominid species of Earth. How wrong they were. Soon humans began to dominate the Earth. That led to Cro-Magnons bringing Neanderthals to near extinction after a couple of thousand years. They who have been ruling the Earth's surface for more than 200,000 years. Initially, the exile of Cro-Magnons was working according to plan, but apparently the sudden turn of events proved all the assumptions and oversights incorrect. The primal state of prisoners was impossible to achieve as soon as our ancestors started building a small-scale interplanetary civilization. The Earth now, as we see it, is the result of a history of man showing and excelling in their ability in the fields of architecture, art, written languages, agriculture, animal husbandry, advanced mathematics and physics, religion, law, government, and technology. But men did not interbreed with other life forms, instead systematically manipulating and destructing them instead. On top of that, the Earth witnessed modern man's savageries. But what about the astounding development of our ancestors in intelligence and technology? Testing reveals that genetic memory caused intellectual reversion instead of progression, prompting a heated debate over different supposition on the matter. Others believed that our ancestors were exterminated immediately before they remembered genetically, while others never doubted that our ancestors would self-destruct, observe, and curtail development. It was a dead end, and additional contact was not allowed. Although there is an agreement on the prison planet's observation as well as assessment, some restrictions were made. What is a notable fact is that Earth's most significant events in history for the last 10 million years happened upon the arrival of our ancestors and when annihilation of Neanderthals began. Of course, not everyone will agree on how our ancestors were wiped out on the planet, but who knows, the answer to the unknown remains. But since we are on the subject of Earth being a prison planet, what is the possibility that somehow, some way, maybe we are aliens on this Earth we call our planet? We humans endlessly think about the origins of our species and the fundamental question, what am I? Where did I come from? Have been the cause of never-ending debates between scientific studies and religious beliefs. The answers to these questions are not equally valid, but interestingly enough, some answers lead to speculation, which can make you wonder and ask, what if? The perfect example of this would be the hypothesis of prison planet, wherein humans are hypothesized to be aliens exiled to Earth due to inability to behave according to alien standards and utopia. Dr. Ellis Silver addressed this topic in detail in his self-published book, Humans Are Not From Earth, A Scientific Evaluation of the Evidence. Although posed as an American ecologist, where the book is mentioned, there is no publication of scholarly research related to his supposed project in cleaning the Pacific of plastic debris. If you're not skeptical about the source material, then maybe you might wonder if this theory that Earth is a prison planet is a standalone. In Silver's book, he explains the humans are aliens, as evidence suggests, considering how humans maladapted to the terrestrial environment. Cited examples include the human's tendency to sunburn easily, high tolls of mortality among infants, as well as chronic disease and dislike of natural foods. Silver also adds during an interview on Yahoo News that, quote, there's a prevailing feeling among many people that they don't belong here or that something just isn't right, end quote. Still, the question remains, why the need to send us here to Earth? According to Dr. Ellis, the violent nature of humankind is the answer. Until humans learn to act in a primal state, we are somehow condemned to eternity in this prison planet and never are able to return home. What could back up these observations made by Dr. Silver in place of real evidence? There is skepticism of his theory, as most arguments are based on selective readings between differences in species. For instance, he compares humans and lizards on their ability to stay out in the sun without getting sunburn. Silver believes that the reason why humans get sunburns isn't because we don't have fur on our skin, since it is clear that there are many other animals, mammals in particular, without fur, scales, or feathers to cover them, like elephants, rhinoceros, and more, that don't get sunburned. The reason he believes is because we do not originate from this planet, we were simply brought here. Another contradicting piece of evidence is the 99% similarity of chimps and humans' genetic composition. This fact suggests that we share an evolutionary history going back 5 to 6 million years. Furthermore, the Earth's inhabitants share a metabolic and genetic commonality. This, according to Dr. Bernhard Hubald, a bioinformatician at the Max Planck Institute, suggests that very likely there once existed a universal ancestor, and that all living things are related to each other, which disproves Silver's thesis with just this as evidence. Also, there has been a steady drop in infant mortality, where some causes of these deaths previously could be caused by disease, malnutrition, and environmental factors. It should also be noted that the human brain appears to be well cut out to respond to cannabis, which is found across the planet. One would think that this could be a coincidence, or perhaps we have sympathizing aliens for our keepers? The basis of Dr. Ellis's theory is obvious. You see a clear resemblance with biblical claims and precedents in our history. In the Bible, it says we were banished from heaven, humankind condemned on earth to live a sinful life, and the only way to get to heaven is to live in harmony, peacefully, without harming another being. Our history also depicts a similar picture when the British Empire used both Australia and North America as settlements for British convicts. From the penal colonies, the convicts became slaves to countless plantation owners. If you look around at the chaos and violence of the planet, would you think of it as a hell or extraterrestrial prison? Life on Earth is hardly one you can call perfect, but the randomness of life's existence is something one can scarcely call a prison either. But then again, is it? Are we, the human species, from Earth? No matter how you see it, there appears to be unknown planets in our galaxy. If we exist on Earth, as our ancestors have, then other planets may have life forms that have gone without our detection or ability to prove their existence. And if this is true, would we not ask the question, are we aliens imprisoned on Earth, and is Earth a prison planet? A significant amount of people believe that there is no concrete evidence, scientific or otherwise, of modern humans' evolution on Earth, and that our human ancestors existed about 50 to 60,000 years in the past because of banishment or imprisonment. Scientists will disagree on this until some hard proof is produced, but just like opinions, suppositions and its verity will vary. One truth remains that the probability is extreme that somewhere in this universe there may be life. Logically speaking, there is a probability that life couldn't have been a selective dispersal throughout the universe, so we can surmise that if there is life here, there must be life somewhere else, considering that there are planets with environmental and climate conditions similar to that of Earth. The life we know may be the same for other life forms, or ones in the past, proving the possibility that we may not have evolved here on Earth, and our origin, as well as our genealogy, is terrestrial. Does that evidence, though circumstantial, lean towards the probability that we were in fact exiled to Earth? It became necessary to isolate humans with violent tendencies and mental instabilities, so they were assessed, selected, and arrested for exile. When our ancestors were exiled here to Earth, it would be under some conditions, which would include memories being stripped from the prisoners, no technology or tools allowed. Prisoners' placement on the planet would be wide-ranging, with climates similar to former worlds. Strictly forbidden to help, contact, or interfere with development. And there would be a great distance between intergalactic civilizations and prison planet. Lastly, there would be periodic monitoring and assessment among the prisoners. When this plan to isolate our ancestors was carried out, there was a hope that somehow nature would take its course and solve our problems. But here we are, and our ancestors have been long gone, and human nature is still unpredictable as it ever was. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and the notification bell so that you'll be notified of new content every time we upload. Thank you for listening.